Hey everyone, welcome back to Root to Rise. My name is Jessica. Thanks for tuning in on another episode of Products and Practices for the Mind, Body, and the Soul. So today I have a very special guest. It's actually one of my closest friends from college, and I like to call her the outdoor adventure extraordinaire. She is the most incredibly inspiring woman and loves to backpack and camp and does all these adventurous things that I think is so empowering. And especially as women, just to be able to go out on your own and explore the world and to be in nature and what that means. So she's going to chat with us about some of her adventures, some adventures that we hope to take together, and some trips that we've done. And then we'll feature some products that if you ever want to get out there, whether it's just a simple hike or a weekend of camping, that you can use to take on. So this is my friend Allegra. Allegra, welcome to our show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So happy to have you. So where are you right now?
I'm currently in Seattle. This is actually where my folks live, so I'm out here visiting them in the Northwest. It's a beautiful time of year to be here for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually going to Seattle for the first time in mid-July.
You've never been out here?
Never been to Seattle.
Oh, it's cool. It's cool to be around all the water without it having to be like 110 degrees like it was in LA summers. So
yeah, and not have the rain. But Allegra actually grew up in Montana, which is also another great state for outdoor adventure and travel. And this winter, I had the pleasure of skiing with Allegra in Montana. And so she got to show me around her hometown for the first time. And that was really special. That was so beautiful.
It's really fun. Yes. Jess is quite the skier.
I'm this good, but I want to learn how to do like all the backcountry stuff that you do. I can hike. I love hiking, but in terms of being prepared, I think that's my biggest issue.
Yeah. Just go with somebody who somewhat knows what they're talking about. I'm happy
I just went on a 10-day trip to the East Coast where I was staying with family and friends the whole time, and I brought a 50-pound suitcase.
Yes.
So I need to work on that. That was 10 days.
I feel like we've always traveled very differently.
No, but I mean, I feel like I got really into hiking when I moved to California for the first time because that's just not a big thing on the East Coast. It's not a cultural thing. And then out here, definitely on the whole West Coast, whether it's California, Seattle, whatever, there's just so many beautiful trails and outdoor places.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And LA was cool too. It is a little bit of a trek to get out to the mountains sometimes, but once you get out there, you usually have it to yourself. There's the more popular trails out there like the Runyons and all that. But if you're willing to go a little bit further, it really surprised me how remote it is out there.
Oh, totally. Runyon's my backyard, and I go there like at least once a week. But then when I have the time, I will drive up to Malibu and all these like an hour away. And yeah, there's so many beautiful places you can go that just really feels like you're escaping the city. And it's therapeutic. Being in nature, it's the best therapy.
It's very nice. Yeah, I live in Denver now, and one of the big reasons to move to Denver, actually just bought a place that's like 10 minutes from hiking trails, so I can get done with work in 11 and a half minutes is how I time it. 11 and a half minutes after I close my laptop, I can be on a trail, which is ideal.
And Allegra's getting married this year, and her bachelorette's in Denver this summer. So this summer, take me on a hiking extravaganza.
We're going to go.
We're going to go.
It's going to be great. That group will be really funny because there's a couple of people who are like my sister is like a hardcore. She just climbed Denali. She's like a hardcore outdoor person, kind of, very similar to me. And then other friends who are not outdoorsy at all. I mean, I would certainly consider you an outdoorsy person, Jess, but it'll be very fun to see kind of everybody out on the trail.
I go completely both ways. So that being said, I mean, a lot of these products I think would be great for people who want to like get into the more outdoorsy adventurous side of them. And we have some like cool, more fashionable things that could spice up an outdoorsy bachelorette party as well. I'm going to first show you my new favorite shorts, which I actually put on today, inspired by Miss Allegra, because she is the queen of biker shorts. Like, they just fit perfectly for her. But before we get into products, I just want to quickly say, make sure you stay for the end of the show because, again, we are doing our gift card giveaway. So you do have a chance to win $250 if you email the code that I will announce at the end of the show to Mark It Live by the end of this week, and then they will announce the winner on Sunday. So we did have a winner last week who won $250. The email is info@market.live. And yeah, that code will come out at the end of the show, so stay tuned. Okay, so Allegra. I'm going to quickly stand up here, do a little fashion show for you. What do we think about my biker shorts?
Ooh, so fun. I feel like most biker shorts are like just black. So those are great.
And I've got another color too. I feel like these ones are more you.
Oh,
I'm a pink girl, but these ones
yes.
have some more color in them.
Those are cute.
Yeah, see, shorts are from this company called Playground. I featured a bunch of their stuff on my site before, different leggings, athletic wear, and stuff. But I think biker shorts are great for hiking because they keep everything in. You don't get poked by, I don't know, the brush and the things around you. The
Yeah.
only issue is you're gonna have a serious thigh tan, but
Yes.
we'll get
But
over it.
that's like a mark of pride, right? It's like people with their sandal tans at the end of the summer. I know
Yeah.
that's like a big that's a stereotype of folks up in Boulder, like an hour, 45 minutes north of Denver, is how good can your Tiva tan be by the end of the year.
I get the sports bra tan from running outside and hiking outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other one too is the ankle tan because we got some hiking boots, which I never understood why hiking boots are better than sneakers until I started doing real hikes, and then I was like, yeah, you can't do real hikes in sneakers.
Not so much.
Yeah, so these ones, I actually, funny story. I got these when I hiked Machu Picchu a few years ago. And I had a pair of hiking boots prior to that I got in like high school for a trip I did to Israel, which is really the first time that I was like hiking adventurously. And I was like, oh yeah, these old hiking boots, they fit me great. I can use them for this. And me and my friends drove up to Mount Baldy, which is the tallest peak in Southern California, to kind of prep for Machu Picchu and to make sure our gear and stuff worked. These hiking boots were a solid size too small for my feet, and my toes were like literally going to die by the end of it. So then I was like, yeah, I need to get new hiking boots.
Yeah. Oh man, it makes such a big difference. Well, and also I guided for quite a while, and people would show up to these like multi-day, 20-mile trips in boots that they bought the day before. And some boots actually do okay. If you hike, like, do a 5-mile hike in brand new boots, but I always recommend that people like walk around their house in the brand new boots that are clean, right?
Yeah.
Walk around their house quite a bit to break them in, because those people were not very happy.
No, I remember wearing these boots, like walking to Trader Joe's and grocery shopping and walking home,
Yeah.
like through LA in hiking boots, being like, this
See,
is
in
how,
Denver, no one would have even, they wouldn't even have thought twice about that. So,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So between the hiking boots and the playground shorts, you got like a full waist down hiking set going for you.
Yes.
So the other thing too, when you're on a trail, when you're hiking, what are like water, hydration, fuel? I feel like those are the next two essentials that you need, you know?
Mhm.
So my big thing now, liquid IV, I feel like everyone has known about liquid IV forever. However, Allegra knows my obsession with kombucha. Liquid IV recently came out with a liquid IV kombucha. How cool is that? So it has all your probiotics in it, but it also has all your electrolytes in it. And again, they just come in thick. So you can totally take them with you, camping, hiking, all the above. So we don't get dehydrated and end up in a place we don't want to be,
Right.
stranded without resources.
Yeah. That's something else too that I think a lot of people don't realize is if you're doing something that's longer than a couple of hours, people kind of get this weird like water scarcity mindset. And so they'll actually drink a ton of water. And that can be really bad for you if you're like going out for a number of days and you're drinking way too much water and not getting any electrolytes. It causes all sorts of imbalances. But I think it's just something that happens where it's like anytime you get a chance to drink water, people will chug water, and that can actually be kind of
Right, because it actually flushes out most of the nutrients you need. Like your body's a chemical reaction, so you need the salt to for your muscles not to cramp and whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
Emma just said I'm new to hiking, so thanks for the info. Yeah, Emma, don't drink too much. The other problem, if you drink too much, then you have to pee. I mean, that's like me. I'll just go over to the side of the trail and pee, like no shame. But it's nature, you know.
Part of the fun.
Watering the plants if it's not raining.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And then we also have a great hydration backpack too. My Camelback, I will say I can drink this whole thing on like a 5-mile hike, which now that you're telling me this, I probably shouldn't because this is like a pretty big bladder. It's a 1.5 liters.
Yeah.
So
And that's great for a day trip. We always, I don't want to misquote, but I always try and do like 2 to 3 liters for a day hike just to bring it. But that usually is also stuff I share with other folks.
yeah, and having the backpack too, then you can like throw stuff in it like sunglasses, hat, snacks,
Right.
all the important things that you need on your
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think those are like the best essentials for like an easy day, weekend, a few hour hiking trip. But if you're really going to go for it, so before we have like a sleeping bag and a tent, all those things for if you want to actually go camping. But I want to ask you, what is two-part question. Your favorite place that you've ever camped and one place that is next on your bucket list that you want to go to.
My bucket list is about 50 things long, so I'll think through that while I answer the first question. My
Or
favorite
maybe
place
the
ever.
next place you plan to go, the next new
Okay.
place.
That's fair. My favorite place I've ever camped, it's probably a tie. One would be Yosemite, of course. I love Yosemite. My dog is named after Yosemite, which I know is cliche. But I did a trip right after college. I kind of wasn't planning it. But I was driving from LA, actually up to Seattle to come see my parents. And I saw a sign for Yosemite going on I-5 and just decided to go and kind of made this trip happen. I had like everything I owned in my car, including my backpacking stuff. So got to do like a really snowy camp at the camp right below Half Dome, which was really cool. And then did Half Dome. I met these 2 childhood friends who were doing Half Dome and were kind enough to kind of give me a literal and figurative leg up. So that was really cool. And then another place that I loved was I spent a lot of time in Alaska with my dad. And so we went to the Arrowgetch. It's a super steep, it's like the second steepest mountain range in the world as far as like the vertical slope of the actual mountains. And so we were down in kind of this meadow just surrounded by, it was like this wall of granite up in Alaska in the middle of nowhere. So that was very cool too. Nice to be, I don't know. So those sorts of trips where you're like really going out of your way to be in the middle of nowhere. If you like know what you're doing and feel safe and have, good backup for satellite phones and all of that. It's one of my favorite feelings in the world to really be kind of tucked away from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Up next, I want to do Nepal for my honeymoon. So I think we're going to try and do Annapurna, a trek around Annapurna, which would be really cool. And they have, the Sherpas out there are incredible. So you can really do some pretty wild stuff because you have all that help. So that's probably not the very next thing I'll do outside. I might go on a walk outside after this, but I wouldn't consider that a bucket list item. Not quite as much as Nepal would be.
That's incredible. Yeah, there is I mean, is what you said of being the thing I think about, and I think about this too actually a lot when I'm skiing. Allegra and I have done a lot of amazing ski trips together, is that when you're in that space where I'm like, nobody could find me right now. Nobody can contact me right now. I'm just like here with the elements and the world around me. I was actually reading a really interesting quote the other day, how like when we go out in nature now, we always think that animals like bugs are imposing on us. Mosquitoes are biting us. There's a bee around, like there's a bear in the way, a snake, whatever. But like you're in their ecosystem, you're in their home.
Right.
But to kind of flip the narrative to be like, to just give up all sense of control and all sense of that this is your space, but just be in somebody else's space and live the way nature lives.
Right. Absolutely. My favorite.
Yeah, sleeping under the stars. We do have a sleeping bag on the market, and a camping tent. So if you do want to get out there this summer, we got products to help you. Funny story, the reason why I have a sleeping bag. So the first camping trip I went on when I first moved to LA was to Joshua Tree for a weekend. And I didn't have a sleeping bag. I was borrowing like a tent and some other stuff from friends who were planning the trip. And a friend of mine at the time, it was around the holiday season. Someone as a gift gave me like this giant box of fancy coffee that like was nice. I drink coffee, but it was like a big box of all these bags of coffee. And she's like, I have this sleeping bag that I'm never going to use. Like, I'll give it to you in exchange for the coffee. I don't know how this like came to be. I think we were like working together and she saw someone give me the gift and she's like, I'll give you the sleeping bag. It's yours. You can keep it and I'll take the coffee. I was like, all right, it's a trade economy. I'm down. So I do have a sleeping bag.
That's hilarious. That reminds me of that story of that guy that like traded a paper clip all the way to a house. You remember that?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, wild.
And I feel like that's kind of like rules too when you're out in nature or like you're like I can trade resources I have for resources you need and vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah. That happens on the trail. So I've never done a through hike. So a through hike is the really, really classic ones in the US are the Appalachian Trail, which is on the East Coast, and the Pacific Crest Trail, which is on the West Coast, goes from Mexico to Canada. And people tell stories about that all the time where they'll do trades. Like they brought the same, 5 flavors of Cliff Bars or whatever, and they're so sick of them because it takes like 3 to 4 months to do these trips that they're desperate to trade for any other type of protein bar, right? It'll be like something but they just want like some different flavor. So that happens a lot on the really those much longer trips. I wouldn't do that if it was just, a 4 or 5 day trip, but
Right. Or you're like, I'm sick of like the clothes I'm wearing now, but your t-shirt's cool and you like my t-shirt. Maybe we'll just swap t-shirts.
right.
That's probably a little less sanitary, but let's stick with like food and essential items.
Yes.
So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in on our conversation. And before we wrap up, I just want to remind you all one more time that we have a contest going on. You can win a $250 gift card. So if you're inspired by Allegra's stories and you want to go camping and you want to splurge on some camping items on the market, we will have a code coming out in about a minute that if you email to info@market.live by Sunday night, you could potentially win a $250 gift card on Monday. It'll make your Monday of a holiday week that much better. So, are you ready for the code? Ready? We're going to give the code. Yoga 10. All caps yoga 10. Email that to info@market.live by Sunday night. And Monday, you could have a $250 email gift card in your email. You can get a camping tent. You can get cute shorts from Playground. Whatever summer fun you got going on. But yeah. So my next time I get to see Allegra will be in Denver for her bachelorette, hiking and hanging out. And I think it'll be the perfect mix of like fun and adventure.
That's the goal.
Yeah, that's a
And
good
maybe some yoga.
Oh, that's my gift to you. I'm going to teach a yoga class for her. So this is why we make such great friends.
It all works.
This is the trade economy that I'm talking about.
That's perfect.
Allegra gives me tips and helps me on the adventurous seeker I want to be, and I teach free yoga for her. But yeah, so it's always been such a special relationship we've had living in different states too, because it kind of gives you an excuse to have an adventure and to do something else when you're visiting someone. Like Allegra stayed with me a few weeks ago in LA. She lives in Denver, so I love to visit her during the winter and ski and travel, and we can meet each other in different pockets of the world. I'll let you have your honeymoon in Nepal, but if you want to go somewhere else, I'm down.
Absolutely. Yeah, we talk about doing New York? I think we need to do New York.
Yeah.
Do Martha's Vineyard.
Okay, I'll show you around New York City. But what about, can we do like Patagonia? You've done Patagonia, right?
I have not. That's actually another bucket list item, but
okay, there. I'll give you a tour of New York City. You give me a tour of Patagonia.
Perfect. Different types of adventure.
Yeah, but that's the point. That's life, right? You gotta have that balance.
Sounds great.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Love chatting with you as always. And thank you everyone for tuning in on our episode of Root to Rise that was all about summer adventure. So get out there this summer, get some vitamin D, go camping, go hiking, whatever makes you feel good. And enjoy the nature. And thanks, Allegra.
Thanks.
Hey shoppers, get ready for the most exciting summer yet. Market.live is giving away a $250 gift card each week. Do you want a chance to win? Yes! Here's how it works. Tune in to select shows we announce each week and listen carefully for the keyword or phrase during the last 15 minutes. Email the keyword or phrase to info@market.live with your name and contact information for a chance to win. Don't miss out. A new winner will be announced each week, so you have up to 15 chances during the summer to win big. May the odds be ever in your favor. Good luck and happy shopping.